So Congress has come back, and now big question is on this money bill, this foreign aid supplement bill, Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and the border. We're going to get any border reforms. We're going to get anything that'll stop the flood of illegal migrants. That's sort of front and center on the table, and maybe even some Democrats are interested in that. Joining us now, Alabama Senator Katie Britt, who, by the way, is the author of God Calls Us to Do Hard Things, Lessons from the Alabama Wiregrass. She said it right here on set brilliantly. Senator Britt, good to see you. So there's a big Wall Street Journal story today. You probably saw it. Discussion, all right? We're at discussion, the possibility that some Democrats might be willing to make some changes at the border. They're talking about changing the standard for asylum, which strikes me as fairly weak need, but I want to get your take to it. You may be in the middle of this thing. What you think?
Well, we have to do something. And so I am glad to hear that some Democrats are actually waking up to that reality. When you look at the border, we have 8,000 people on average a day coming across our border. We've seen at Eagle Pass, Larry, them actually having to shut down legal entries. Now, at that one entry point alone, we average about $34 billion worth of trade activity. So every day we could be losing about $100 million just by shutting that down. So I guess that is the newest prong of Bidenomics. What we need Democrats to realize is that we actually have to have strength. We actually have to secure our border. We have to provide deterrence. And the asylum process, making sure that we strengthen that, go from credible fear to reasonable fear, also closing some of the loopholes that we see them using, is a critical part of that. Now, that's one part. We have to have a multi-pronged approach. But one thing to think about on asylum as well is how many children are being abused under the Biden administration's asylum process. We saw back even in 2019, and we've seen obviously the Biden administration just continue to weaken the standards there at the border, but we saw child after child after child. They saw 600 children that have been re-trafficked across the border because that helps them and claim asylum. It helps them get in here. There was one child actually in that group, Larry, that was trafficked 8 different times over our border. So 1 in 3 victims of trafficking are children. That is who were the victims of this process. And so strengthening that asylum standard, closing that loophole. Marsha Blackburn is leading the effort on the Prince Act, which I'm proud to be a co-sponsor of. These are things that we can't think about doing. We must do.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're co-sponsoring on the kids' trafficking business. That's very, very important. Let me ask you this. You've got, in the House, you've got H.R. 2, which is a very important piece of legislation for policy changes along the border. Now, I know that won't pass in the Senate, but it would take 60 votes to get anything done in the Senate. So you have some leverage, 49 Republican senators. What about building a wall? What about Remain in Mexico, which was so successful with the cooperation of the Mexican authorities, the Mexican president? It was Nieto first and then Obrador second. I mean, I was there at the time, involved in that. At first, the Mexicans didn't want to do it, but then we threatened them with trade tariffs and other things, and then they wound up doing it. I don't see why that, if you're going to, if you're going to have better standards for asylum, which is a little bit weak-kneed, it seems to me, just leave them in Mexico. Let them wait there, okay, before any asylum decisions are made. Is anybody talking about that on the other side of the aisle?
You know, I can't speak to the other side of the aisle, but we are continuing to sound alarms here on the Republican side. And we believe this shouldn't be a Republican or a Democrat issue. This is an American issue. And so to your point, H.R. 2, Senator Cruz has a companion bill here in the Senate. I am proud to be a co-sponsor of that. That finishes building the wall. It actually tightens asylum standards, puts back in the Remain in Mexico policy. It defunds NGOs, which, as you know, with Biden in this current supplemental, what he has put forth is an absolute disaster. All it does is encourage more illegal migration into our nation. It rolls out a red carpet for them. It gives them white glove service once they get here. What we need to be doing is actually spending money on securing our border, which also means, in addition to these things, is making sure that we have more ICE officers, that we are actually spending money on removal and transportation. You know, of the 6.5 million people on the non-detained docket, you have about 1.3 million of them. So that's 20% that have been given due process under our laws and are set to be removed. The Biden administration needs to be removing these individuals. If we were detaining people on the border, and if we were actually removing the individuals that needed to go home, sending people back, that would be a deterrent. Just as you were talking in your previous segment, it seems that the Biden administration doesn't understand deterrence, whether it's with Iran or whether it is on our border. And you know who's paying the price, Larry? It's the American people.
Senator, on that point, we got a minute left. I wasn't going to ask, but I want to ask. When is Joe Biden going to start directly talking about the American hostages taken by Hamas? All right, we got this little girl back. God bless. This is a good thing. But there, somewhere's 10 people or fewer. I don't know how many. Nobody seems to have a straight answer. Kirby, nobody. When is Biden going to start threatening Iran, okay, which is the puppeteer and the paymaster of Hamas, about these Americans being held hostage? They are Americans. That is an act of war, as you well know.
Absolutely, Larry. 93% of Hamas's funding comes from Iran. We know how to fix this. We have got to put back in bone-crushing sanctions on Iran. We have to actually mean business here. We are seeing these hostages come home, and Larry, I was watching the footage prior to this, and as a mama, and seeing those babies come home, those children come home, seeing them being wrapped in the loving arms of family members. Now, not even necessarily their parents, because some of their parents have been killed. These Hamas terrorists, their brutal savagery must be stopped, and we must get American hostages home. And I want to see some strength from the White House. I want to see him demand Americans come home.
That's it.
To your point, we have 8, 9, 10. We don't know, but we know where they need to be, and that's on American soil.
Yeah, he's not even talking about it. That's my beef, you know, because he's got to put the fear of God into these people. He's just got to do that. It's the only language they understand, and he's going to have to take an action. Trump took an action. Reagan took an action many, many years ago. That's the only language they understand. They have to be hurt in order to respond. Anyway, Senator Katie Britt, we thank you very much for coming back on the show. And folks, please go out and buy her book, okay? One click, Amazon or whatever your favorite click is.